We have always been told famous biblical stories. But what about the lost narratives? The Bible consists of puzzle pieces of individuals with different perspectives. From the desert to the mountains to the valley and the sea. Narratives lost between the lines in the margin.
To say that this was going to be an ordinary day would be an understatement. I've come to learn that anytime Jesus shows up on the scene, something extraordinary is going to take place. I had already heard, notice I said I heard that Jesus fed the multitude. I heard that Jesus even walked on water. But for the first time, I'm witnessing this myself. I found out that the Savior, Jesus Christ, was living up to all the hype, all the talk, and everything that was said. But what really made me feel somewhat sad in my heart was to look and see how much people valued what they had over a human life. And what I mean by that is there was a demon-possessed man who for most of his life was banded to the caves where night and day he cut himself. Can you imagine listening to a person screaming out for deliverance, asking for help, really not even knowing why he was in this condition? I'm sure as a witness, I have had this in my life at least one time. But I found out they cared more about an animal than a man being set free. As one that stood by, I could see where the people's priorities were. And one thing it reminded me of, I had to be careful on how I looked at life situations. Just watching the power of God, just seeing what they were saying about this Jesus. I watched different occurrences happening. A woman that had an issue of blood was healed. I watched and I saw how a young girl was raised from the dead. No doubt, all the things that were said negative about Jesus Christ, I found out by just standing there that they were real. Jesus Christ was everything that he said he was. I had been a witness of Jesus Christ seeing the deliverance of the man that was possessed by demons. I was so excited. I was so hyped up about what I was seeing. I was standing right there and I saw it. And to be honest, it blew my mind. As I watched all of these different things happening, I noticed all of a sudden the crowd started walking closer and closer to the seashore. Why? Because this Jesus now was changing his location. He was changing his location. And when he stepped on the island, oh my God, you would think a rock star showed up. But this was the Christ. He showed up. And after he had healed the man, after he is moving, now notice what's happening. There is a progression of different events going on. I'm watching all this and it's really mind-boggling. How could this be? Where's the energy coming from? Where's the power coming from? Where's all this coming from? After he healed the man that was demon-possessed, he was on his way, and there was a ruler of the synagogue came to Jesus and said, Jesus, lay your hands on my daughter. And Jesus was about to go, but even in the midst of that, there was a woman that had an issue of blood for 12 years, showed up, somewhat preventing Jesus from getting to the ruler's daughter. I'm here to tell you today, sadly to say, that the little girl died. Could it be that it was the will of God for her to die? I don't know. Remember, I'm observing all of this. I'm standing on the sidelines trying to find out what is happening. And all of a sudden, after the woman made up in her mind, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I know I'll be made whole. The woman was healed. The woman was healed. Now, Jesus was now getting ready to go to heal the young daughter, but he got word that she was dead. As soon as Jesus Christ heard these words that she was dead, he went to Jairus and told him, "Fear not, only believe." I thank God that Jesus is what he said that he is. He is a savior, he is a healer, and he's a deliverer. He went to where the young girl was, grabbed her by her hand, and spoke words to her. And the young girl woke up. Someone asked me, as only being a standby person on the outside, this really never happened to you. How do you know that it's real? My eyes saw it and my heart felt it. As I watched, as I observed what was going on, Jesus himself helped to develop my faith. The first thing that I got from Jesus Christ, and it made me to increase because he continued doing the same thing, healing the sick, raising the dead, delivering those. Jesus said in his word, "I am come that you might have life and you might have that life more abundantly." So I found out just by standing there that Jesus was a healer, Jesus was a deliverer, and Jesus can raise anybody from the dead. No matter how long it takes, no matter who steps in front of you, no matter who cries out ahead of you, Jesus has a plan for your life. So I say to you today, by me standing there in the crowd, I realize, don't be afraid, only believe Jesus Christ is the Savior.